Okay, last little point. Here's a weekly format. Once again, don't go out and say, all right, we've got Alabama's weekly format. We're going to replicate this, because first of all, this is entirely towards speed. If I was working just to maximize speed, this is the approach that I would take. This considers nothing like school schedules and training for other physiological variables that affect a sport. This is just speed. But I want to show you the kind of the thought process that I go through to come to what I would consider to be the optimum format, and then work to adjust from there. We're going to lift 4 times, we're going to run 4 times. Coming in on Monday, I consider that the best time for us to do our most powerful, our fastest times. You know, I hear a lot of talk out there about how athletes aren't recovering over the weekends. Well, unless you have data to show that, be quiet about it, because I've got data that shows that our guys are very good at recovering. And this dates clear back to some high school teams that I've worked with. You know, they might stay out late. They might do things that, you know, they're not sitting around on the Normatec 24 hours a day, but that doesn't mean that they're not recovering. So I've got data. They come in, they're in a good spot Monday morning. Now, if you notice, the lifts and the runs are different early in the week in the sequence compared to late in the week. And I'll explain that as I go, but I'm going to come in Monday morning. First thing we're going to do is a nice max power lift. The best overspeed sessions I've ever run have always followed a power lift. Now, I'm not talking power lifting as a sport. I'm talking speeds are fast, loads are light to moderate, volume is low. Right? We're a lot, you know, very complicated, complex lifting. Speeds are very fast. They're not building up fatigue. We're not breaking them down. It is an incredible nervous system stimulant. Then I'm going to lead right into overspeed training, and we're probably going to be our most aggressive in overspeed training at that point in time. That's why that sequence is like that on Monday. On Tuesday, I'm still going to do the lift before the run for 2 reasons. Number one, the lift is a dynamic coordination workout. These are you know, the most challenging plyometric training, complex plyometrics. They're the types of things that are very challenging from a nervous system and coordination standpoint. Loads aren't heavy. Again, volume's light. It actually does serve as a great warm-up for the resisted sprint that follows, but the primary focus that day is the coordination in the weight room. Therefore, I'm going to do my resisted sprint workout after, so that no fatigue comes into play. Especially when we do heavy resisted sprinting, it's pretty taxing. By the way, we don't give, generally, because it's a muscular component, we don't use full 5 minutes rest between there, but it's still a good amount of rest. But I sequence it like that because I'm going to give them Wednesday off. Therefore, they're getting about 2 days. If we do that early in the morning on Tuesday, they get almost a full 2 days of recovery. Then we get to Thursday. I'm going to do another overspeed session, but I'm going to do it first because now we're getting later into the week, even with Wednesday off. I don't want lingering fatigue or accumulated stress to limit what I'm doing on the overspeed session. So I do the overspeed session and then go and do another lift. Most likely it's a power, but again, it's just driven by what the limitations are. If I have a coordination limited athlete, he's probably going to do another coordination lift in there. So that changes. We're going to move those shells around a little bit. Friday morning, we're going to come in, we're going to do a resisted sprint session before the lift. Again, because of accumulated fatigue, but also because if I'm going to put in a strength session, it's going to be the very last thing that I do before I give them the weekend to recover. And here's where some of the strength agenda crowd lose their minds with me. You know, they want that strength session to be Monday, day one. We're going to go heavy. That's our most important factor, and therefore we're going to do that early in the week. But once again, as I told you, I view strength as the least important factor here, and therefore, if I have a force limited athlete, I'm going to do some strength development, but it's not going to affect all the other stuff that we're doing. I'm going to focus on the other 75% of the variance in speed even in someone who is strength limited. So that's a template. I would start with that. I would start working from there, and then Coach Blue and I will sit down and we'll start moving some things around to make sure that, you know, speed is not the only thing that we're focusing on, but that we're doing our speed development in a way that is as close to optimum as we possibly can get.